fans, greetings MMA maniacs. It is time for another episode of Split Decision, your podcast brought to you weekly here from SplitDecisionMMA.com as well as Fight Fans Radio Network. Get their Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud as well as our Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. It is Split Decision MMA on Twitter and Instagram. It's SD_MMA on Facebook. It is Split Decision MMA Podcast. I know it's complicated, but give us some love. We need it. Brought to you from the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios. It is Bueller and Dodge, giving you the news, recaps, and predictions of upcoming MMA fights. And there is apparently a lot of tabs open. We have a lot to go over. So what is the first on the agenda there, Dodge?
First thing on the agenda is the UFC has allegedly released 4 fighters. One is guaranteed and confirmed by Ariel Helwani. The other three,
the other 3 are alleged. Okay,
are alleged. And this is only because apparently there is a website that is setting up a Ruby script, basically to check the UFC's website for changes in the roster.
Oh, really?
So these guys are still because they hold on to a database.
A Ruby script, is that fancy talk for something?
Yes. That's leet. There you go.
Is that leet speak? Oh, it's leet speak. Got it. Okay, leet speak.
So they have an active list of fighters, and then they also have a database of all former competitors. On the active list is what they're checking constantly to see who's currently active.
Any shuffling, anything that's missing shows up as like a glitch in the matrix,
there
so to
you go.
speak.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a 0 where there should have been a 1.
Of course, yes. Deja vu. Got
Edwin Figueroa, Junior Hernandez, Sunshi Shimizu, and Ivan Menjivar. Ivan Menjivar is the only one that's been 100% confirmed.
I was going to say, he's the only one I really give a shit about. The other 3 are kind of,
Other than Melvin Gillard, which was last week.
Right, and we brought that up last week. Okay, fair enough.
So, I mean, Ivan Menjivar, though, do you think he'd still continue to fight? Have him go over to World Series or possibly Bellator?
The guy's only 31 years old. He could easily go to World Series of Fighting or Bellator.
Huge veteran, 14 years in the sport.
I would like to see him go to World Series of Fighting. I want to see World Series of Fighting succeed. It'd be great to have just another venue for fighters to go to that doesn't suck like Bellator. So hopefully World Series of Fighting can pick him up and do something with him. Speaking
of Bellator, Tito Ortiz has reached out and said it's been 7 months since he signed with them. He's just waiting for them to call.
How many cars do you want me to hit before you give me a fight?
It's like, no, bro. I gave her my number. She's gonna call me, right?
When they call,
no,
I'm ready.
No, you said you would call. How come you never call?
How come she only gave me 6 digits? Oh, I gotta guess the other one. All right.
Oh, I like the game you play.
9 chances. So, do we really care to see Tito still fight?
We'd like to see him get beat up, so yeah.
Well, he does that enough with his own car, so.
I want to see Tito fight Jenna in a cage.
I think Jenna would win.
Possibly. Triangle choke. She's really good at that, man.
Put him in the camel toe clutch.
So, right before UFC Fight Night 38 that happened in Brazil this past weekend, which we will cover here in a little while, one fight was immediately scrapped.
Really?
Yeah. Will Chope against Diego Brandao was supposed to happen. Instead, the UFC released
Chope, right?
Will Chope the day before the fight because they found out
that he beat his wife's ass when he was in the military.
He had a bad
How do you think he got so good at fighting?
A bad conduct discharge from the Air Force. Also,
she must have been good to make him good enough to get in the UFC.
He assaulted his wife on more than one occasion, including threatening her with a knife back in November of 2009.
She's a big bitch.
So
MMA fighter had to get a knife?
They completely released him from his contract. Now, how do you feel about this?
Well, I read a lot about this, and the UFC has been very quick to protect their brand, which is what the news outlets are reporting. It's like they have this brand, and they don't want it to go sour because it's still in its infancy. It's not like the NFL or anything like that. Where you got an
People beat
organization.
their wives all the time, and you still play next season.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You got a motherfucker who runs somebody over in an intersection in Florida and kills him. And it's no big deal,
I'm still looking to get Ray Rice in my fantasy team. Just saying.
Right? Ray Rice. You got Ray Rice. You got the Oakland Raiders. You got the Dallas Cowboys, and you got the fucking Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody bats an eye, but that's because NFL's established. Nobody gives a shit. UFC is still so young. You got to protect the brand. I guarantee you, if the UFC lasts another 50 years, which it should, then some of these things are probably going to slide through the cracks like they do in other major sporting organizations.
Honestly, if you're going to protect the brand, you need to take Dana White out from being the fucking front man.
I think that's going to happen, though. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah?
I honestly feel like Dana White is going to not be the front man at some point in time.
Is it going to be Kenny?
Maybe somebody a little more comfortable.
Because, dude, he's clean. He's like too clean.
Somebody who's who's great in front of the
Florian
public
is so clean, dude.
He looks way too much like an anorexic Ben Stiller. Like if you had a Ben Stiller skeleton on a stick and made it dance, then you got Kenny Florian. But
got to give him some jiu-jitsu skills.
This is true. But somebody like that, I think, will replace Dana White.
You don't think Chael's going to replace Dana White?
It could be
Mr. Game Show. Mr. Game Show.
It could happen. I think at some point, maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but I think Dana White's his vulgarity is kind of keeping him from being as mainstream as he wants to be.
But according to the Fertittas, they absolutely love that about him, and it makes the company real, because it is as real as it gets. That is their tagline.
That's their tagline, and that's great that the Fertittas love that about him, but the public has to love that about him. And
which most do.
We do. We're a bunch of degenerate assholes. but if you want to be a household name like the NFL or the MLB or something like that, you got to have a commissioner that is going to be more family friendly to everybody.
Yeah, but think about like what you just said. If you're going to be the MLB or the NFL, but then think of the laundry list of what's going on.
But look at the commissioner. Look at the guy who's in charge. Look at the main dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? He can get in front of a camera, be poised and composed and all that stuff. You don't get that with Dana.
Right.
You get a 14.
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't want to answer that fucking question.
You're an idiot. Who let you in?
Ultimate Fighter 19 coming up April 16th on Fox Sports 1. That is Penn against Edgar. We have our list of 32 competitors. Do you recognize any of these names?
Yeah, Daniel Spoon.
All right.
No, not really. I just saw that one.
You just like that one?
Diego Lima.
No, you don't know him.
No, I don't.
You're just combining names of fighters that you like.
No, I'm not. They're right here, man. And they stand out to me. Doug Sparks.
There's not one guy from California.
Wait, let me see.
Yeah, there is. Chula Vista, right there.
Chula
Mark
Vista.
Van Buren. Matt Van Buren.
He's from Chula Vista?
Chula Vista.
I wonder if he fought at the woman's prison.
Maybe he's a guard.
He was exactly. I was just going to say that. God damn it! No, I have no idea who any of these people are.
All right, well, we'll release that name and see if any of our listeners know any of these people.
I'm looking for my ex-brother-in-law.
He didn't make it.
No.
Never will. Oh, Koscheck.
Koscheck, back in the news, basically recently came out and said that he's going to fight out his contract. He does not want to just be released yet. He has been called out for fights. He is obligated for 2 more fights. He wants to finish those 2 fights before he is released from the UFC. I still think he needs to go train somewhere else, be a coach somewhere. I don't know if he still has enough.
Let him fight out his fights. I mean, fine. We'd like to see him get beat up. Give him $15,000 a fight. Call it a day.
All right.
You know?
Yeah, but he could do the same thing Rampage is doing. Go over to Bellator, beat the shit out of people.
But he's got it released from his contract.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Fight out this contract. Go over to Bellator.
He ain't gonna beat the shit out of anybody at Bellator either. Well, I mean, I'm not completely. And this is me saying this. I am not affiliated with Split Decision at this point in time. I'm not convinced that Bellator is not rigging fights anyway. So,
we'll find out when Rampage fights Mo.
King Mo.
Yeah. I mean, all the wrestling shit that came in with that.
In the TNA cage, or is this going to be in the actual Bellator cage?
Exactly. That's my fucking point. Yes, exactly.
So I like that this came out recently. This is Dennis Zimmer says he's blaming his new nutritionist for his failed drug test, but the first thing he gives out is he says,
was his nutritionist a pregnant woman?
Deny. And like Shaggy said, it wasn't me.
I mean, really, what do you...
Right here, the last statement, though. I do not want to blame anyone for this result, and I take full responsibility for my gullible and careless behavior. But yet, I'm just going to let you know that it was my nutritionist.
I'm not pointing any fingers at her.
Right?
Him.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Said that basically hired an external personal trainer and nutritionist to support me for making weight. They recommend a new diet method in the U.S., which has been very successful and used by all the movie stars.
It wasn't me.
So apparently he was drinking the orange juice. Isn't that the one that's all in, like, the Inquirer? And all
the shit diet?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
And upon that, he became pregnant, apparently. Thereupon asked, as a competitive professional athlete, I could safely use the supplement. It was confirmed.
The 48-hour miracle diet gives you throat babies, just so you know. Just keep that in mind.
Wow.
There you go.
I've never been so happy to be fat.
High fat 5. Yeah.
You can't quite reach each other.
It's like a Wally high five. You know?
little bit of sad news. Chris Weidman is out of his fight up against Lyoto Machida in May.
Such crap.
They are moving it until July now, because he has to have surgery on his knees.
I literally laughed out loud when I read this because I read this a couple days after, like, we were looking at the poster last week and how awesome the poster. Oh, this poster's great. Oh, Weidman's out.
Weidman's out. Immediately after his fight, though, Dan Henderson offered to replace him at UFC 173, saying, "Let me fight Lyoto Machida just like you let him have Johnny Bones when I got hurt."
Wow. All right.
I would actually like to see that. And all they really have to do, they could keep the paint there and just digitally put
totally.
Dan Henderson in underneath the American paint.
But are they going to have to give him a TRT exemption?
No, he's going to be off TRT by July.
Yeah?
Why not?
He should be clean because he already started cycling off.
Yeah. And he's not pregnant.
No throw babies. No throw babies.
But they said that's not going to happen. They're just going to wait until July, and they'll wait until Wyden's ready, having double knee surgery.
Now, I didn't see all your tabs. Did you have a follow-up with GSP on that?
Yeah, that's coming up.
Okay, I want this final.
Coming up.
Coming up!
We have a whole lot of fights
I wasn't sure.
that are being talked about. Obviously, Pettis Melendez after the Ultimate Fighter 20. They're talking that fight's going to happen most likely in December.
That's what bums me out, is that it's the end of the year. Jesus.
End of the year fight.
It's so far away.
We have some pictures of Hendricks' torn bicep tendon. Are you ready? Yeah.
Damage wins fights. Damage wins fights.
But here it is replaced and repaired.
Damage wins fights.
Which I don't know.
Lawler won. Damage wins fights.
They just like tie it together and like a bunch of
That's
knots.
what I was going to ask.
They
Do
braid it?
they pull the two
It's
ends
a fucking
out?
basket weave. Look at it.
Do
Dude.
they pull the two ends out? And so like you got like a little like when someone like when
I am not a doctor, but that looks pretty fucked up.
I'll post those lovely pictures later.
You know what trips me out is when they can open your
Man.
body up like
That's
that
gonna get flagged on Facebook. You
and
can't
blood
post that.
doesn't pour out of your body.
I'm sure it already did.
He's dead at this point.
They revived him though.
They'll revive him.
Cryogenics, man. Cryogenics.
So yes, further news, injury news is that GSP is not only on his indefinite leave for competition, he is also out now for a ACL tear.
That's great. What was he training for?
He just likes to train, man. Likes to stay in shape.
So-
This should
Training
be
partner for Rory McDonald.
Okay, so he's never torn an ACL in his tenure as a champion.
He had the double. Remember, he did the double ACL on his knee.
I'm choosing to
when he had to
forget
come
that.
back for a
I'm
year.
choosing to forget that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has. Okay, all right, fine. I was
Where
gonna
did you find this under the heading just in case anybody gave a shit?
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's what kills
Just
me.
letting
Though.
you know what's going on, man.
Like, why is he training so hard that he tears an ACL?
He's helping Rory McDonald because, as I was about to announce here, all these fights are being announced, and one of them is Rory McDonald will be fighting Tyrone Woodley June 14th.
Tentatively.
This is for contendership, I'm assuming.
You would
This is
assume
number
this
one
would be for the
contender. It has to be
contendership.
for number one contender.
Also on that same card that is UFC 174 is Mike Easton against Yves Jabin. Little sooner, May 31st in Brazil, we have Ultimate Fight Night Sonnen versus Silva, which is also Mark Edvia against Edmison Souza, Ernest Chavez against Elias Savaro. Then going down the first one in Albuquerque, which we talked about the other day, John Donson against John Moraga, and Yatsuin Meza going up against Sergio Pettis.
Now, speaking of Sonnen and Silva, I heard that Silva was going to quit the filming of The Ultimate Fighter.
That was the videos. That's basically what the scuffle was about. He almost walked out. He wanted Chael Sonnen to apologize for his comments against Brazil, and he says, "Look, Vanderlei, do you remember the last time I made those comments? It was to hype up a fight with your countryman Anderson Silva, and he was defending Brazil's honor. Do you remember how that worked out for me? Not so well. I got my ass kicked. He beat me. He's forgiven me. Why are you taking the helm of this? It's over. I paid my price by losing to him badly. Not only that, but Anderson Silva was going to come coach for me. Like, it's over. Drop it, dude." And he's like, "No, you're going to apologize or I'm leaving the show." He's like, "You can't leave the show." And he's like, "I don't understand why you're..." He's like, "I'm supposed to be the bad guy on this show. Everyone's supposed to hate me, but everyone's going to hate you if you leave the middle of the show."
He said that?
Yeah.
Really? He said he was the heel.
Yeah.
I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good deal. All right.
Also announced, we have Daniel Cormier going up against Rafael Cavalcante at UFC 175 July 5th.
That's a headlining event?
That's going to be the same one with Chris Weidman and Lyoto Machida.
Oh, okay.
And then, obviously, we have the December fight, Anthony Pettis against Gilbert Melendez.
Beautiful.
You like all those fights?
No.
You happy with those fights?
No.
Not happy with any of them?
I don't know why they're announcing Rafael Cavalcante.
Going up against Daniel Cormier, because that's why they're announcing it, because they're talking about Daniel Cormier.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But why?
Poor Daniel Cormier doesn't even get anybody in the top 10.
They don't have a better fighter for Daniel Cormier.
But I think that's fair.
You think it's fair?
I think.
I mean, after beating a barista, you just get some guy that's on the roster.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just some dude from a coffee shop.
Yeah. If he'd have beat the intended person, then
Right.
yeah.
Because he beat a shitty coffee shop contender or up and comer, he gets another shitty up and comer.
Right. Well,
Fabio Cavalcante was a former title holder.
Hey, if
How
Strike
long
Force.
ago? Yeah, Strike Force, and how long ago?
Hey, if the barista guy would have won, they'd have gave him a fight.
If the barista guy would have won, I would have won $1 million. Just saying.
So this image was released yesterday.
Is this the expected uniforms?
This is Chris Weidman in these alleged uniforms. Dana White has come out and said, no, the deal is not done. This is just something we've been playing around with. We've grouped together multiple photos.
Dude, bro, is that Evan Tanner right there?
What? The Jack specific Evan Tanner action figure you can get for $5.99 right now.
That's sad.
It used to be $13.99, but they've lowered the cost.
That's terrible. Dude's dead.
If you act now, you get 2.
Keep the price up. That's just mean.
If you remember, Rusmar Parares had to get pulled from Brazil to go take a drug test in Las Vegas for his upcoming World Series of Fighting fight.
I'm going to buy one, by the way.
Steve Carl. He passed his drug test. Everyone was saying that he was going to be on drugs and that he wasn't going to be able to pass it. He passed his drug test.
No, he's just going to hold on to an ankle lock way too long and get in trouble again.
No, he's even said in interviews he realizes the error in his ways.
Error in his ways.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'll believe it when I see it.
Main eventing the May event, UFC 173, that was supposed to be Chris Weidman and Lyoto Machida, is now going to be Renan Barão defending his belt up against TJ Dillashaw.
That's bad for TJ Dillashaw.
Well, maybe he'll have learned things from the 2 times that Faber fought. They're trained for the same camp.
Oh, God.
I mean, he doesn't have Bang Ludwig helping him out anymore, but, you know. He's been training with Joe Rogan.
Is there any word on who's replacing the coach?
Nope.
Just Joe Rogan taking out and just doing some stuff.
Yeah. Joe's coming in.
Joe Rogan's coming in. That's it.
Yeah,
that was the decision we came to last week.
Conor McGregor is still out on his surgery, recovering from his knee surgery.
And he's still talking shit.
Still talking shit to make sure that he is in the media. Some of the things he says, they were asking him about Jose Aldo. He said, I think he's basic. You basic, bitch. You basic.
Your couch.
He says his movements are limited. He doesn't do any crazy movements. There's nothing that jumps off the cage or jumps off the page when I look at him. I thought that straight away. A lot of these guys think he's this, he's that, and I certainly don't. First of all, let's talk about that one. I think that's a little Jose Aldo with the double flying knee.
Right.
Nobody remembers that. Jose Aldo jumping off the back of the cage.
He's obviously just trying to overhype himself.
On Diego Sanchez, he said, I would love that fight, but he's been getting his ass whooped the last couple.
I don't want to end his career.
Yeah, he's already slowing. Like he said, he's been at the promotion for 9 years. He's been there since the Ultimate Fighter 1. He's the original Ultimate Fighter. That guy can barely string a sentence together. It's time for him to call it a day.
Shale needs to have a class. These guys are so far out of it. Shale needs to have a class and teach these guys the proper technique to talk shit and get what you want.
How about this one? I like this one. Dustin Poirier and Cub Swanson. Poirier has an unusually small head. These are all facts. He's got a big game with a little small pea head. Cub Swanson is a little wrinkly motherfucker, and he's old and shit. I'm just stating facts.
I mean, he's kind of right though. that kind of is a fact, but you know,
fact.
But so he wants to position himself to be a heel because he sees how heels do. Okay, cool deal.
And then speaking of Diego Sanchez, he is now going to be fighting Ross Pearson.
Why is he still in the UFC?
At the Albuquerque fight, June 7th.
And then why are they giving him a fight in his hometown?
Because he has one fight left, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so this
could be a swan song.
Yeah, swan song in his hometown. Like, how much are they paying him for that? That's
doesn't matter. Enough to buy him Coke.
Whoa!
Allegedly.
Yes, Cartwheel. Yes, Cartwheel.
Allegedly.
All right.
According to training partners that I have talked to, have worked with him down in San Diego.
He loves he loves a good soda.
Yeah.
Loves good soda. Not Diet Coke.
No.
It's gotta be full flavored.
Full flavor.
So the Ultimate Fight Night. Ultimate Fight Night that happened down in Brazil. Did you watch it on Fox Sports 1?
I did.
Yes.
I did.
What'd you guys think of the fights?
I only caught the last 2, but damn.
All right, well, you want to go over real quick?
Yeah, let's roll, man. Godofredo Castro defeated Noad Lahat on a flying knee in the
double
first round.
flying knee, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
I completely missed that. I thought it was on Fight. It was on Fight Pass.
I saw it on TV.
Oh, really? What?
They did the replay.
Yeah, they fit it
That's
in.
Fine. Hans Stringer up against Francimar Barroso. This was a split decision in favor of Hans. Then you got Kenny Robertson up against Thiago Perpetuo. This was a rear naked choke in the first round at a minute 45. Nice. Apparently, it was very nice according to Dennis. Hussier Formaga went up against Spotty Jorgensen, who was appealing his decision. Rear naked choke, submission, first round 305. How is he appealing this, by the way?
I didn't get a chance to read the article.
All right, well.
Thought you'd come prepared.
Never. Dick. Thiago Santos.
Hey, his legs are getting tired from carrying this fucking show.
I'll wait till his back gets tired, and then we'll start working.
We'll start switching it up.
I brushed up on the underground before I came here. Rodney Marks got TKO'd. Body kick and punches up against Thiago Santos. And then Jason got the win. TKO first round, minute 17. Yeah. TKO over Steven Seiler. What'd you think of that?
Jason looking like a beast as usual.
Fast. That's what I like. Fast.
And this is the guy. Who punched the wall last time, right?
Yeah. So he had to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah. Apparently he did.
To someone who hits fire, but it didn't look like that it was going to hit back.
Michael Prazeres up against Mairbek Turisimov, unanimous decision.
Turisimov though got deducted 3 points in this entire fight. Once for the illegal knee, and the other one for grabbing the cage.
So had that not happened, how do you see it going?
He still would have lost.
Yeah, it was.
If you look at the scores there, he would have been, instead of 30-25s across the board, it would have been 30-28s.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So cheating didn't help him.
And then Fabio Maldonado up against Gian Viante.
Coming back with a vengeance. He even said himself, he has to get bloodied up and beaten up before he's in the fight.
Which he did.
And he definitely came back.
And won a nice decision. Pretty much across the board. 29-27, then you got 29-28. The 29-27, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I'll agree with more of the 29-28. It was a close fight. I mean, he did do enough, obviously, to come back and win, but I don't know if it was enough to come back and win.
Like that,
like a 10-8,
to make him look like an idiot. Leonardo Santos and Norman Park. This was a majority draw.
Yawn.
Yeah, pretty boring fight. It was pretty tough to decide who was going to win that fight anyway because there wasn't a lot of action going on, at least in my opinion.
Which is weird for a lightweight because they at least pitter-pat a lot.
Yeah.
Just no energy. They were both coming down off the TRT. You know.
At lightweight?
CB Dalloway, wow. Can I say wow?
Dalloway,
Can I say wow? I'm going to say wow.
39 seconds, man.
I mean,
he had to make a statement. I mean, obviously he listens to our show. He knows we're disappointed in him.
The guy's so hit and miss. Like, I couldn't have any faith in him coming into this fight. But damn, 39
Especially
seconds.
over a tough guy like Cesar Ferreira.
No, he looked good. He looked good. I mean, he looked as good as you can in 39 seconds. Really.
Right.
That's why I sell hookers anyway. And then, main event, Dan Henderson, Shogun Rua. What the fuck?
Dan Henderson showing that age is just a number, my friend. That H-bomb could come out of nowhere.
And literally out of getting taken down and beaten for 2 rounds.
Yep.
Knocked out twice.
Basically.
Possibly flash knocked out. Yeah,
basically.
Possibly.
Because one, he was out, and then the second punch, and everybody knows that second punch woke him back up.
And I think it was the second round when I was watching this fight where he was on his back and Shogun was raining down punches. I was like, and Herb Dean came in, I was like, he lands one more shot. This in my head. One more shot. This is over. Switched his hips.
Yep.
He was able to get his arm around.
Yep.
So then Shogun couldn't land the punch, and then all of a sudden Herb Dean backed off, and I was
Herb Dean's like, cool.
We got to fight.
Right.
We got to fight. This is insane. Yeah. And then he lands that big H-bomb out of nowhere and broke the fuck out of Shogun's nose, not once, but twice.
Bring that
up. Right.
And just put it away. Like, it blew me away. It was an awesome fight.
And it was funny because Shogun hit him so hard in the first round, his AARP card flew out of his fucking pocket. And still, he gets it done.
Knocked him out of retirement.
Now, do you think, did he break his nose on the first punch or when he looked up?
I don't know, because that shovel punch that he threw, that shovel punch was brutal.
Yeah.
Was just brutal. Knocked Shogun into stupidity.
And what I really like is if you watch Dan Henderson's face, nobody is more surprised that Shogun hits the ground than Dan Henderson. He's like, what? Yeah!
It was a perfect punch, and then a perfect follow-up by Dan Henderson. Was able to get the win in the third round. What, a minute 41 in the third round?
I believe so,
yeah. So a minute 31. So damn. I honestly expected win, lose, or draw. Dan Henderson was going to retire after this fight.
Yeah.
No, he wants title run, he said.
And another thing that I really love.
Confidence is high.
Right?
Confidence is high.
He wants title run.
Another thing I really love is why this fight's going on. I'm watching text and people post, why is Dan even trying? And then, holy shit. You know? That's one thing I do love about the sport.
Anybody can win anytime.
Just one punch.
It's a beautiful thing, really. I mean, if you look at two guys like Shogun and Dan Henderson who are veterans, been around for a long time. Shogun, a lot younger, I think, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you got Dan Henderson's 44 years old. These guys are veterans of Dan of UFC and Pride. Shogun
Shogun's
of Pride.
32.
He won the Grand Prix in 2005.
Yeah.
Think about that. 9 years ago, he won the Grand Prix. That's his biggest claim to fame.
That was when he was top of his prime.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of people say that he was overrated at that point in time because he just won a Grand Prix, did it too much after that. But really, these guys have put on some of the best fights that we've seen in the last couple of years. Both their fights, they would rank pretty high, top 10, top 20 at least.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, they definitely won their fight of the night. Bonus for that.
Yeah, good job on both
Dan
their parts.
Henderson also getting performance of the night. Again, able to come back from getting beat for 2
Seriously.
rounds to knock
Seriously.
out Shogun Hua.
Sorry about your luck, Shogun.
Sorry.
But good fight.
Sorry.
Good fight. So that pretty much wraps it up until the next time when we have, it looks like Nogueira versus Nelson.
Yep, that'll be going down in 2 weeks. 1
Is
week.
it 2 weeks?
1 week.
Wait, 2
April
weeks.
11th, yeah.
2 weeks.
Freaking Roy knows.
2 weeks. 'Cause we have Game of Thrones next
There you
week
go.
on the 6th.
You're correct. This is going down in Abu Dhabi.
Really?
Yeah.
And Roy Nelson has won an Abu Dhabi championship.
Yeah.
Has he not?
Has
Nogueira won an Abu Dhabi
The
championship?
poster is very awkward. Their arms look broken.
Yeah, that's some bad Photoshop. But whatever. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. How much taller did I want us to expect that Nogueira is than Roy Nelson? Did they try to airbrush his six pack onto him? What is this? What is this flat shit on the side right here?
His belly button?
But what is it like right to the side of that? Like they airbrush? Like is that?
Korean Elvis.
he
That's
probably-
Korean Elvis.
That's Korean Elvis? I thought it was Monica Lewinsky's face for a second. Go back to it. Hey, Monica Lewinsky. Look at it. Monica Lewinsky. You see the hair? Look at the hair. You see? Come on. You see the hair?
It's just
right?
awkward that he's fingering his belly button.
Wait, look at the hair. She's got the bob cut right, and the eyebrows. It's Monica Lewinsky in his belly button. Booyah! Look at that. And then if you look at Nog's stomach, it looks like Pac-Man, a very angry Pac-Man.
Hey, before you leave, we got some tea leaves for you to read too.
That's fine with me. All right, so that's it. Wraps up another episode of Split Decision, your weekly MMA podcast, brought to you from the Rulaw Family Inc. studios. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you check out our official website, which is splitdecisionmma.com, which I have to renew. Also, Facebook, Split Decision MMA Podcast, Instagram, Twitter, SD_MMA. And you can get us on the Fight Fans Radio Network. Big thanks to them. It is, what is it? Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, right? As well as our iTunes account and their Blogspot.
And the
Fuck you
blog
guys.
spot.
And our Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. If you can find us on those under Split Decision. And one more time, who was it last week?
Death Rob.
Death Rob.
Death Rob. Thank you very much to Death Rob. Death Rob?
Yeah,
Rob.
their music is the music you hear incoming the show and outroing the show.
And from Miles Jersey when it comes in the ring. So big thanks to those guys. Make sure you show them some love. They're out of New Jersey. I hate New Jersey, but I love them. Does that work?
And Bon Jovi.
Anyway, until next time, have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.